Carl here from Metal Wani, and with me today is a true living legend of heavy metal. He is not only a forward-thinking architect of style, he is also one of my personal favourite people to have the pleasure of chatting with. It is, of course, none other than the great Max Cavalera himself. Max, it's so great to hang with you again. Thank you so much for your time today, my friend.
Thanks, man. Good to be here talking to you. Very excited for the release of Ritual, of course, and yeah, you know, things are just starting to get busy around here.
Glad to hear it, brother. So, as you said, the new Soulfly record, Ritual, your 11th studio album with the band, comes out tomorrow, and it is a force of nature, man. What a record. First of all, I just want to take a second to say congratulations to you guys on it.
Thanks a lot, man. It means a lot to me, you know. Like I say, I read your review. It was an amazing review. Give me the chills. I had to call my son and tell him and read it to him because it was so killer. It was so really, really honest, but really, really with a lot of feeling, you know, and really emotional. We worked very hard on this album. Actually, right now marks exactly 1 year since we start working for Ritual. We started October of last year. That's when I started gathering the riffs and all the first songs, you know, Dead Behind the Eyes and all that. Then I jammed with Zion, and then January 2nd we entered the studio. So it was like we commemorate New Year's. We crack open the champagne. Literally next day we're putting bags in the car and driving to California to record. So it was like the best way to start a year.
Well, first of all, January 2nd is my birthday, so that's awesome. Second of all...
Cool, awesome, man.
Second of all, as we were saying earlier, I was the one who wrote that review, so hearing that come from your lips yourself, man, that is just a huge personal milestone for me, so thank you so much for those words.
Right on, man. Yeah, so we are very pleased with the work. I think it was like this record needed to be done and needed to come out the way it did. It was like the right people involved. I think Josh was very, very special on the producing of the album. Great cover painting by Eli Ron. Marcelo Vasco did the insides. You know, we had Nick in the studio doing all the machinery sounds and the industrial sounds, and the players themselves. I think this might be one of my favorite Soulfly incarnations with Zion, Mike, and Mark. So it was like hard work, but really fun too. You know, it was a fun record to make because we were playing what we love, and when you do that, it's always good. It always feels good.
Of course, man. And I don't want to give away too much about the record because it's coming out tomorrow, so everybody can wait the extra few hours. But you have teased a couple of tracks from it already, and I really want to know, how have you found the initial reaction to the new material so far?
The reaction's been really good, man. Really positive. You know, most of the people I talk to really like it. The label is really behind it. They really love the record a lot. You know, I think a lot of people, even some people that say that they didn't really like Soulfly, but they like this one, which is kind of cool. Of course, that makes me happy, you know. And I think it's gonna be a good record for us. You know, we have a tour starting in January with Cataclysm, and Inside in America is the beginning of the Ritual World Tour, and that should be a lot of fun. We are trying to create a new kind of stage. We're gonna kind of build these statues to go with the whole Ritual theme, like to put on the sides of the drums and in front of the amps. Really tribal looking kind of statues and stuff, so should be really cool. And then of course the set list with 11 records, there will be plenty of decisions to make. You know, it'll be kind of hard to even make a set list, but I think we'll eventually get there. You know, there's a lot of stuff to play, a lot of songs to play, and we want to play a lot of Ritual too. So, because I think this is a really good record play live. It's going to be really fun playing this stuff live.
Awesome, man. And one of the things for me personally that I loved, and as you know because you read it, was when I heard the title track Ritual. It masterfully brought those original groove roots with the contemporary Soulfly sound right down to those, you know, infectious tribal chants that are scattered across the track. Was this something you were conscious of when you were writing this material, bringing back that core sound and marrying it with where you guys are at now?
Yeah, I was like a challenge, you know. Can we do it? Can we write a really, well, you know, modern tribal metal song in a very style of roots, bloody roots, back to the primitive Ratamahatta prophecy? And I think it does have elements of all those tracks I just mentioned, but he also has something new on top of it. You know, it's like he also has a new face of Soulfly right now, almost like being born again. You know, so Soulfly actually is born again with Ritual, and it was a challenge, but it was cool. And it was like really. Josh had a lot to do with that because he was really bugging me in the sessions. When we started the record, it was a lot of fast stuff like that behind Demonize, and he kept every day asking, when do I get to, when are you writing some of the groove stuff, you know, the tribal stuff, you know? And I kept blowing him off, but eventually we finally got down and dirty on Ritual, and I wrote the whole song. Mark put that amazing Prophecy Digitech Wawa guitar in the beginning, and then the best thing was the recording I did with the Navajos. You know, I went on a field trip recording with them, and got all the chants recorded, and it was when Josh put them in the song, it was like magic. It was pure magic, you know. Then was all there was left was to sing, and it was one of the last songs I sang on the record. Everything was done. And we ended up recording in my house because we ran out of time with studio time in California, and Josh flew here and we finished the vocals in my house, which was great.
Cool, man. And, you know, speaking of Josh, when you enlisted him as your producer, and I thought it was really cool to read what you said about him coming in as a Soulfly fan and producing it as a Soulfly fan. What difference do you think this approach made to the record overall now that it's complete?
Well, first of all, I don't think we never really had a producer like that before. You know, everybody's been more on the professional side. You know, Andy Wallace and you know, Scott Burns. They were more like producers and never really big fans of it. You know, I mean, of course they like it. They helped us and everything, but this was very different. This was really cool, man. It was because Josh came in, and it was like from the beginning of the sessions, he's like, you know, Max, you know, I'm a huge fan. I think my favorite three records are Chaos, Roots, and Soulfly 1. I grew up with this shit. He talk about his brother all the time. Me and my brother would jam Soulfly 1 until, you know, like until the CDs start skipping type stuff, you know, and I think it was kind of like that. Like, and he told me he wanted to make the Soulfly record that he wanted to hear. I was making the Soulfly record that I wanted to hear as a metal fan, not really as a Soulfly fan, but as a metal fan in general. That's why you hear, you know, influences from everything I listen to, from the newer stuff like Genocide Pact and Gate Creeper, all the way to some other, even some black metal influences like Dark Funeral and Abbat and stuff like that, you know. So to me was the metal record I wanted to make together with the Soulfly record Josh wanted to make. I think the combination of those two things pulling, and I was pulling more for fast death thrash songs, and then Josh was trying to get me to do more groove songs. We ended up doing, I think 3 of them are more grooves, if I'm not mistaken. I think Ritual, Bite the Bullet, and Blood on the Streets are kind of like more the kind of groove ones. Maybe a little bit Evil in Power, but everything else was very much on the Rapture, Dead Behind the Eyes, much more death thrash. Because I was telling people what I was trying to make was a tribal death thrash record, which I actually want to put that in the back of a Soulfly shirt. I think that would be great, just says tribal death thrash.
I love that, dude.
Because I think that was kind of mission accomplished. You know, we did it. You know, we created a tribal death thrash album, and I think this album does sum up all those elements in one record. And I think that's was real hard to do, but really fun at the same time, because I love all the stuff, you know.
Love it, man. And like, you guys have hit quite a milestone now, because I mean, you're touching on 2 decades of Soulfly, and I kind of felt with your last record, Archangel, that it was something of a rebirth for you and as a band, and now Ritual sees you guys kind of coming full circle. And I'm kind of curious, because this is just my perception, would you agree with this?
I agree that I've been really on a roll lately. I think I think if you count Killer BQ, Archangel, Psychosis, and Ritual, I think those are really, really powerful 4 records in a row kind of thing. And to me, it's really cool to be like that. It's like I don't know how long this is gonna last. But enjoy it. You know, kind of like it's like it's got good luck strike or just inspiring. I think it's inspiration. I think it's from me many reasons for that to happen. Some of them being not drinking and taking drugs for a while now, especially the last 8 years. I've been straight edge, and all my attention went back to metal. My focus went back to metal. And I didn't have really the distractions of taking drugs and drinking on top of it anymore.
Sure,
I think that's really kind of what goes to the bottom of it. Like, I became even more of a metal fan than ever before. And that translated into work. I ended up working more, and the reflection is on those records, and I'm extremely proud of those records. You know, I mean, to me, Psychosis was one that is a really cool record to me, because it didn't have any hits. You know, that was like the opposite Max that you normally hear. Didn't have any really big songs and no big, you know, choruses, but was really, really brutal and really in your face, and a lot of people really love the record a lot. Even the musicians I talked to, like Nurgle from Behemoth, told me that he loved Psychosis, and that was really cool to hear that as a musician, for me to hear that. And yeah, so I think, you know, I came out of and both of those records, Psychosis and Ritual, were both recorded right after tours, which was I think that's another thing that might explain why the records are so exciting. When I did Psychosis, I came out of Return to Roots tour. When I did Ritual, I just came out of the Nail Bomb tour, and so I think was the influence from those tours really made an impression on the record, which I think is really cool.
Cool, man. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. And one of the many things I've always admired about you, Max, is that you're a consistently forward-thinking guy and musician. Not just when it came to, you know, Sepultura's Ascension, but even now on Ritual. I don't hear anybody else doing what you're doing, and certainly not the way you're doing it. Which brings me to a thought I'm excited to get your take on. Like, a lot of artists I've spoken with feel that there are a lack of forward-thinking musicians today, that there is a state of, like, retromania where music culture is imitating and has an addiction to its own past. When you think of our contemporary music culture in metal and beyond, do you consider this to be a fair assessment, or would you disagree?
Well, I think I'm a guy that embraces both. I embrace the past, but I also look forward to the future, you know, and I think that's where lies. I think the creativity comes from those things, because, like I said, embracing records like Roots and going on tour, promoting Roots, playing Roots, then playing Nail Bomb, those records were dormant for many years. Nobody touched them. We brought them back to life, and at the same time creating new music for Psychosis and Ritual. That's the path of the future. I think I like both, man. I think I'm one of those guys that, I still love all my old Celtic Frost, music, all my old Discharge, as much as I like all the new stuff like Outer Heaven and, that Congregation, whatever. It's like I can hang with both, I'm not one of those guys that just leave for the past or people that just want to hear just new stuff. They don't know their history, because that's also pretty bad. I think if you don't know where that comes from, I think you gotta know where your metal comes from. That's very important. Like know your roots, type thing. So, and to me, coming from I'm a tape trader from the 80s. I was tape trading with Chuck from Death and tape trading with Morbid Angel and Possessed and those guys, and Millie from Creator. And so we're from a different generation, not this internet generation that we have now. But I do feel about kind of like the same as I was when I was tape trading. I do look for new bands, try to get in touch with them, try to get them to send me t-shirts so I can wear them and promote them, so we support the underground. And that's bitchy, man. That's kick-ass, I think. That's like something that's really something that I think I'm so glad I never lost that fire, that passion for metal. It's always here.
I love it, man. I love that know your metal, know your roots. You could also put that on a t-shirt for sure.
Yeah, for sure, right?
And one of the things, man, one of the many things I love about this record, but I absolutely have to highlight this, is Zion's performance, because not only is it a stunning performance anyway, but I mean, Zion hasn't been there for the entirety of Soulfly. He wasn't in it the whole time, but he still manages to reach back into the past, pull those elements to the future, marry it with what you guys are doing now, as well as putting his own stamp on it. And he just does such a great job, because that's not an easy thing to do, and you must have been pretty proud when you got those drum takes, man.
Yes, Zion's story is really, to me, is a really unique one. Like his Heartbeat open scale as they did. So for me, in my mind, that was his training started. Okay, it's on. You don't know yet. You're inside your mom's belly, but your training just started, man, and you're in this thing. And then I kind of compare a little bit for like those Soviet trainers that train their kids in sport, throw them in ice water, and make them wrestle bears and shit like that. Of course, a different word, but he sat behind all the Soulfly drama through all those years. I mean, there's footage of him sleeping in guitar cases, like 3 years old, with Ozzy singing in the background, and then sat behind all the Soulfly drummers, Roy, Joe, sat behind my brother, even sat behind B-Ward in a European tour we did with Sabbath. No. And so that was his training, that was his school, and I was just waiting for him to get good so we can probably jam together. And then what was cool was that he approached me to join Soulfly. He's the one that asked me if we could join the band after Dave Kincaid left. And maybe I was a little bit premature. Maybe he was kind of green still, but it was cool. It was like trial by fire, get in and let's see what happens. And then when he went on tour with us, that's where the change really happened. And then he became this monster drummer. And I think his style is very unique, man. I don't know anybody that plays like him. He never really has the same beat consistent every night. He changes from night to night in different parts of songs. It's unbelievable. It kind of drives me crazy a little bit, because I never know what he's going to do. And I'm always, okay, like now this is going to be a big row here, and then he doesn't do it, or the next night he does a row, but it's twice as long, It is completely unpredictable to play live, and I love that. I love that because it keeps it fun, it keeps it not boring, it doesn't make it robotic, it doesn't turn into a factory, because like sometimes those shows, when you're doing 300 shows a year, it can become like a factory, almost just like every night is just a blur, every night. But yeah, so Zion's story is really cool. I'm really proud. I think the fans also like the connection of the father and son playing together, the two generations clashing, and I'm extremely proud. I'm so happy that it worked out good for us, and I think it made me through metal. I got closer to my kids. I'm really close to Zion and Igor. Zion through the bond of playing together, and Igor through the bond of listening to the same kind of bands that we like. You know,
Yeah.
I have the same taste in music as little Igor, so it's really cool. And he tells me he's the one that told me about Full of Hell, Genocide Pact. I never knew any of those bands. He told me about all of them, so that's really cool.
Cool, man. Thanks for sharing that story. And finally, Max, you know, and just while we're on Zion, you know, you said it's a great feeling having him on drums, and that you're passing down the torch. And when you said passing down the torch, it got me wondering, you know, 20 years of Soulfly, a wealth of milestones under your belt, as well as being one of the legends of our beloved genre. You've lived and are very much still living one hell of a life, my friend. So my final question for you is, you know, many, many moons from now, when you look back on it all, what do you hope the legacy of Max Cavalera will look like one day?
Well, to me, hopefully, it was somebody that wasn't afraid to take risks and wasn't afraid to try new things. I never kind of let whatever people or ideas or opinions get on the way of something that is in your head or is in your heart. If I feel it is right, I will go ahead and do it, and I think that's been always right from the start. It is how I even discovered the whole thing that you can mix tribal music with metal in the first place was by doing those kind of things, you know. So even though I never think about retirement or anything like that, Slayer already freaked me out too much with that kind of stuff.
Fair.
You know, yeah, it's a big freaked out. I don't understand. I mean, to me, if I retire tomorrow, what the hell am I gonna do? I'm gonna sit around the house, do nothing? I would drive everybody crazy, including myself. I'll go nuts. Literally, I go insane. So I don't think of retirement ever. I want to be doing this until I'm done, until I die, you know. So, and then passing the torch thing is kind of cool, because I feel that I already, you know, my kids will carry on for me after I'm done, you know. Eventually, at some point, they will come to all of us. It's inevitable, you know. But at that, whenever it comes, I know that I mean, I'll be very well represented. My kids will carry on for me, and that's kind of comforting for me as a person, as you know, and knowing that I left a mark, you know, which is cool. You know, it's more than I could ever ask for a guy that started this shit in Brazil 30 years ago to leave this kind of mark in the world. Just quite amazing, you know. So I'm very, very proud of it.
Cool, man. Now, Max, I'm going to let you go there, dude. I just want to say once again, thank you so much. You know, you made this Irish Guy's Thursday one of the best Thursdays he's ever had, saying that the review is your favourite. And I can only wish you the very best of luck with everything you have with the record, 2018 and beyond. And I really look forward to sitting down with you once again, my friend, in the near future.
Nice, man. All right, brother. Nice talking to you, man. Again, thanks for that review. Killer. Zion, thanks, you too, you know, and I hope I'll see you next year, man.
I look forward to it, brother. Give Zion my best, give everyone my best, and I look forward to seeing you next year, my friend.
All right, take care, man.
Take care, brother.